I've had a creepy coworker follow me all the way home. It freaked me the hell out. The worst part of it was that most people didn't believe me. This is a guy who would just stand in the doorway of my cubicle, enough that I got a rearview mirror for my computer monitor so I could see how long he stands there without saying anything. He did it a lot and would stand for minutes without saying a word, just watching me. Sometimes he would ask me questions like what kind and color of car I drive and then would say, "I'm just asking because I thought I saw you the other day." In hindsight, the questions don't seem so innocuous. So when I looked in the side view mirror of my car when I was a block away from our apartments and saw his face, I was in shock. I couldn't believe he'd actually gone that far. I was on the phone with my husband and told him what I was seeing. I thought I must be going crazy, so I continued on to the apartments while watching him to see if he followed. Sure enough, he followed. Followed me down a street that was merely an entry point for a small neighborhood and my complex. It isn't used really for anything else and I knew whereabout he lived, so I knew he had no business being there. I turned into the complex, and there he was right behind me. My building was located in a really squirrely part of the complex, way at the back but in the middle, so you had to drive a circuitous path to get there. And he was behind me the whole time, so I didn't go to my building. I passed the turn to go to it and booked it around to the complex exit and tore down the street into the neighborhood, turned around, parked at the end of the street, and watched the complex exit to see if he would come out. I mean, maybe he was visiting someone who just happened to live there. I kept telling myself that. But nope, there he was. Pulled right out of the complex and drove towards the direction of where he lived. I told my boss the next day, totally freaked out. She kind of believed me, it sounded absurd, but she knew I wouldn't make it up. But no one else in charge did. They handled it appropriately at my job and all, but they couldn't really do anything. They could only counsel him on the harassment of watching me work. It scared me, but I wanted him to know I knew and wasn't going to put up with it. So when he approached me and accused me of being rude to him because I had refused to speak to him ever since that day, I responded with, "I saw you." He said, "What do you mean?" and I repeated myself. He just turned and walked away. I've had other people stalk me and or my former homeowners with mental problems, but this one was just too close. It's terrifying to know that if we weren't as observant, we could have had a much different ending. I'm grateful you're safe.